The record-breaking Major League Cricket 2026 just concluded last weekend, with Jason Holder's LA Knight Riders clinching their first MLC title by just one run. They defeated the Washington Freedom, successfully defending 165 in the finals. This was the fifth instance in the T20 franchise league where the winning team secured the title by just one run, the first in 3 years. This year's MLC shattered various records. We saw 3 of the 10 highest innings total in MLC history, and the lowest ever total successfully defended when the Texas Super Kings failed to chase down the Seattle Orcas 122 in the 21st game of the season. After a month of hard-fought competition at the MLC this season, it's time to pick the team of the tournament. To preface my MLC 2026 team of the tournament, here are the key rules I followed. A maximum of 6 foreign players were allowed to make the 11. The captain must have captained an MLC side this season, and the players must play the same role or very close to the role and position they played for their respective franchise in MLC 2026. I analyzed every game of the MLC this season with breakdowns for cumulative group stage statistics and weighted match-winning performances, especially in the knockouts. Here is BailsOff's MLC 2026 Team of the Tournament. Among all openers this season, there were a few challenging selections to make, but I've gone with Luandre Pretorius and Mitch Owen. The pair finished with the 3rd and 5th highest runs in MLC 2026, with 465 and 427 runs respectively. At the end of the group stage, Pretorius and Owen were the top run scorers among openers in the power play in MLC 2026 group stage. Pretorius was the only batter to breach the 250 run mark, at 256 power play runs in the group stage this season. The two also topped the list for the highest power play strike rates this season among openers who faced at least 30 deliveries in the first 6 overs. Mitch Owen had a power play strike rate of 186.2, and Luandre Pretorius had 174.2 in the group stage this season. Owen and Pretorius also hit the most 4s at 38 and 33, and the joint most 6s at 27 in the group stage this season. The pair had the 2 highest boundary percentages among batters who faced at least 50 balls in the power play in this season's group stage. Mitch Owen also had the 2nd lowest dot ball percentage in the power play at close to 39%, only behind Faf du Plessis' impressive 32.41 dot ball percentage. When comparing top order batters' batting averages in the group stage, between the first and second innings, Mitch Owen and Luandre Pretorius had the 2 best averages in the first innings. Owen was a significant outlier, averaging a shocking 85 in the first innings. However, this is padded by the fact that he had just 3 innings batting first this season's group stage, from which he scored a half-century and a mammoth 155 off 68 balls against MI New York. Pretorius performed even better in chases, with the 3rd best average batting second in this season's group stage. Particularly impressive considering the Unicorns chased in 8 of their 10 group stage games this season. With such dominant statistics, it was hard to look past the powerhouse duo as starters in the team of the tournament. During the knockout, Luandre Pretorius didn't particularly flatter, with a golden duck in the qualifier and 18 off 10 in the challenger. However, he had notable match-winning performances in the group stage, peaking with his unbeaten 102 off 52 balls against MI New York, helping the Unicorns chase down 146 within just 16 overs. Mitch Owen also struggled in the knockouts. However, his 42 off 19 deliveries in the challenger against the San Francisco Unicorns proved to be vital in setting up the Freedom's 238 in the first innings. Colin Monroe made a good case for inclusion, with handy contributions in the knockout stage, with 2 40-plus scores. He also had the best average among top-order batters while chasing in this season's group stage, at 78%. However, his strike rate throughout the season hovered around 120, paling in comparison to Pretorius and Mitch Owen. He also had a dot ball percentage above 50 in the power play, while being just on par on boundary percentage in this season's group stage. Tim Seifert was also a shout for the opening slot, with 379 runs in 10 innings at a strike rate of 158, to go with 2 50s and a century. Seifert also had the 2nd lowest dot ball percentage in the power play this season. However, he just couldn't produce the same volume of runs and performances as Luandre Pretorius and Mitch Owen this season, and just missed out on making the 11. At number 3, the decision was largely a toss-up between Nicholas Pooran and Matthew Short. Both batters had similar performances in the group stage, with 318 runs and 298 runs respectively, striking at 125 and 127. Among non-opening batters who faced at least 15 balls in the power play this season, Matthew Short had the best boundary percentage at nearly 25%, while having the 2nd lowest dot ball percentage below 45%. Pooran, on the other hand, was below average on both boundary percentage and dot ball percentage in the power play, at 16.48% and 57.1% respectively. A contributor to this difference was that the Unicorns' openers in Luandre Pretorius and Finn Allen were far more consistent than MI New York's openers. This meant Short was able to capitalize on a solid start set by the openers, while Pooran frequently resorted to damage control and had to soak up some pressure before unleashing. Interestingly, Pooran averaged better than Short when batting first and second in the group stage this season. Pooran had the third highest first innings batting average, only behind the openers Owen and Pretorius, and had the fourth highest batting average when chasing. However, it was the knockout stages that pipped Matthew Short over Pooran. Although both had stellar performances, with Pooran scoring the quickest MLC 100 off just 31 deliveries in the eliminator against the Washington Freedom, Matthew Short stepped up twice, in both the qualifier and the challenger, when the Unicorns were up against it in two high-pressure run chases. He remained unbeaten in both innings, scoring 94 off 62 against the LA Knight Riders and 121 off 56 against the Freedom, nearly dragging the Unicorns to the finals on both occasions. Matthew Short also had an edge with his stellar bowling performances this season. He finished as the fourth highest wicket taker at 17 scalps, with an economy of just 7.43. He ended up finishing with the third best economy and second best average among bowlers with at least 120 balls bowled in the group stage this season. His extra skill invited him as a vital bowling option in the team of the tournament. At number 4, there was no debate over who would make this side. Andres House. The batter finished with the most runs this season at 547. He also set the record for the most runs in a single MLC season, and the first batter at number 4 or below to be the top run scorer in an MLC season. House had the highest first innings batting average among middle order batters at number 4, 5, 6, or 7 in the group stage of MLC 2026, where he averaged over 60. The next highest was Matthew Trump at 42. In this season's group stage, House also had the third best boundary percentage in the death overs among batters who faced at least 20 deliveries at the death, at 35.7%, while maintaining the second lowest dot ball percentage at the death overs at 21.43%. House elevated his performances in the playoffs, putting the Freedom on his back. In the eliminator, he joined Steve Smith to put on the highest T20 partnership for the second wicket and below, with 241 runs together. The duo took the Freedom home, chasing down 267, the highest successful chase in T20 cricket. He scored 132 off 51 deliveries in that game, the fifth highest individual score in a T20 knockout game. House went on to score another half-century against the San Francisco Unicorns in the Challenger, and a quick-fire 40 in the finals against the Knight Riders. He picked up 2 Player of the Match awards from 3 playoff games. This run from Andres House was the second best playoff run from any batter in any T20 tournament, only behind Chris Gale in the Bangladesh Premier League in 2017. He scored an astounding 245 runs across the 3 knockouts, even more impressive given that he bats at 4, and everyone else on this list bats within the top 3. With that kind of season, Andre House walks into the side at number 4. He'll also don the gloves. Kieron Pollard was an interesting proposition at number 5. He hasn't been dismissed in an MINY chase this season, with 3 such chases. In his very first game this season, he was unbeaten on 100 off 56 balls, the only hope in MI New York's chase of 246 against the Freedom. In the third of MI New York's chases, he won Player of the Match, scoring 63 off just 35 balls to bring the team home against the LA Knight Riders. Interestingly though, he averaged just 12 this season in MI New York's group stage games, batting first. He had 2 Golden Ducks and just scored one 50-plus score from 7 innings, batting first in the group stage. Pollard had the second lowest dot ball percentage in the death overs this season, among batters number 5 and below, who faced at least 30 deliveries. However, KP was noticeably below par on boundary percentage at the death. Rovman Powell was a close shout at number 5, playing valuable knocks for the Knight Riders this season. He finished 13th for the most runs this season at 269 runs, and beat Pollard on strike rate. Powell also had a similar dot ball percentage, while having a significantly better boundary percentage in the death overs in the MLC 2026 group stage, compared to Kieron Pollard. Moreover, Powell won Player of the Match with his 50 off just 15 deliveries in the qualifier against the San Francisco Unicorns. However, Pollard was a more reliable option with the ball, giving more flexibility to this stacked team of the tournament. Powell bowled just 3 overs the entire season, all in one game, compared to Pollard's 9.5 overs across 7 different games. At number 6, there was no doubt Sunil Narine would walk into this side. Winning Player of the Tournament at yet another T20 League season, He was the joint leading wicket taker this season, bagging 18 scalps. He finished the season with a mind-boggling economy rate of just 4.74, the best among bowlers with at least 5 overs bowled. The next best was Corbin Bosch at 6.23, nearly 2 runs an over more expensive than Narayan. Narayan was most impressive in his reinvention this season as a power play bowler. Jason Holder's Knight Riders could genuinely rely on him as a wicket-taking option up front. Narayan shockingly led the wickets taken in the power play in the group stage this season, taking 10. He paired well up front with Holder, who also picked 8 power play wickets in the group stage. Among bowlers with at least 5 overs in the power play in this season's group stage, Narayan had by far the best dot ball percentage at 61.9%, while having the joint lowest boundary percentage at 11.11%, otherworldly numbers for a spinner in the power play. Narayan had the best economy rate and the second best bowling average among all bowlers with at least 120 balls bowled in the group stage this season. Out of his 18 wickets, Sunil Narayan picked 5 in just the 2 playoff games he played, stepping up when it mattered most. Against the Unicorns, he dismissed both the dangerous openers Luandri Pretorius and Finn Allen for Golden Ducks. He was then the player of the match in the MLC 2026 finals against the Washington Freedom, where yet again he cleaned up Freedom's top 3 of Mitch Owen, Steve Smith, and Rachin Ravindra. Is there anything more to say for his inclusion? Of course, Narayan didn't quite flatter with the bat this season, scoring just 35 runs in 7 innings. However, given the number of runs he's able to save with the ball, and the top 5 before him in this team, Narayan more than finds his place in this team of the tournament. For lower order batters, choices among local talent were limited. In fact, a few players like Donovan Ferreira were unfortunate to miss out on making this side, given limitations to the playing 11 combinations. Ultimately, I ended up picking Obis Pinar and Hassan Khan at number 7 and 8 respectively. Pinar finished the season striking at 151.09, scoring 139 runs off just 92 balls faced. Hassan Khan managed 180 runs in 9 innings, striking at 133. The pair were the 2 highest run scorers among local batters at number 5 and below in the group stage this season. The 2 also had the highest averages and above par strike rates among American batters at number 5 and below in over 6-20 this season's group stage. Hassan Khan starred in the Unicorns' last 2 group stage games, where he scored 45 off 33 against the Knight Riders and a quick-fire 36 off just 10 against the Orcas. He also had an important 21 off 16 against the Freedom in the Challenger, but unfortunately it was not enough to get over the line. Hassan also struck well above par in chases in the group stage, with the 3rd highest death over strike rate in chases. He also proved to be a valuable additional bowling option, with 21 overs bowled for the Unicorns this season. Although he picked up just 2 wickets across 9 games when he bowled, he provided great flexibility to the San Francisco franchise. Pinar was instrumental in the MLC 2026 finals, playing a near match-winning 53 off 24 balls. While Pinar was still at the crease, it genuinely felt as though the Freedom could pull off an impossible chase at the MLC finals. Thus, amidst limited options and highlight performances, Obis Pinar and Hassan Khan make the team of the tournament. Between the last few slots in the side, I looked to fortify the bowling options. So far, we already had an economical and wicket-taking option up front in Sunil Narayan, who could change a game within an over, and a supporting cast of Matt Short, Karen Pollard, and Hassan Khan, 4 bowling options within the top 8. The only gaps left to fill were in the pace battery, in a frontline power play quick, a death over specialist, and another bowler to control the middle and death. To do so, I picked Otniel Bartman, Jasdeep Singh, and Abhimanyu Lamba. Otniel Bartman stood out this season, finishing as the joint highest wicket taker with 18 wickets in 2 fewer games than Sunil Narayan and Andre Russell. Bartman also finished with a spectacular economy of just 7.48. Both Bartman and Jesse picked up 7 wickets apiece for the Orcas in the power play of the group stage this season, setting them up well with the ball in each innings. Bartman was above par on dot ball percentage at 46.8% and boundary percentage at 16.7% in the power play this season. Jesse tended to be a bit more expensive up front, but he's been picked in the side for his exploits at the back end. In the group stage of MLC 2026, he tied with Andre Russell for the most death overs wickets, with 8 of his 16 wickets coming in this phase. Jesse also had the second best dot ball percentage at the death, at 53%, while only 15% of his deliveries at the death were boundaries. Jasdeep Singh also had notable match-winning performances. He picked up 5 for 24 against the Washington Freedom, getting them bundled out for just 139 and winning player of the match. Abhimanyu Lamba may come as a shocking pick, but he was mighty impressive in his appearances for the Super Kings this season. He picked 7 wickets from 7 games with an economy rate of just 7.04. Lumba pairs incredibly well with the bowling options available. He picked all his 7 wickets exclusively in the middle overs. Out of all bowlers with at least 30 balls bowled in the middle overs, he had the lowest dot ball percentage for a pace bowler, at just 7%. He also maintained a dot ball percentage of 50%. Having picked the joint second most middle overs wickets in the group stage, Lumba slots perfectly into this bowling attack, rounding out the side. For captaincy, the decision revolved around 3 names: Matthew Short, Steve Smith, and Jason Holder. Given limitations on foreigners and the structure of this side, Matt Short was given the nod with his superior performances in the group stage. He impressed as captain, leading the Unicorns to a table-topping group stage this year, with 6 wins in 10 games. Steve Smith was a close contender, leveling up his game in the playoffs with a massive century in the Eliminator and a rapid 40-odd runs in the Challenger. He led the Freedom from the Eliminator all the way to the finals, winning 2 back-to-back knockouts. Jason Holder was naturally the most successful captain this season, having clinched the title, while also attaining 6 wins in 10 games during the group stage. And he had an impressive season as an all-rounder, finishing with 16 wickets and 151 runs, striking at 142. However, Bartman outperformed him as a new ball and middle overs bowler, securing the 6th foreign player slot, which meant Holder couldn't find a place in the team. Thus, here is the MLC 2026 team of the tournament. We have Luandre Pretorius, Mitch Owen up top, Matt Short, Andres House, Karan Pollard, and Sunil Narayan in the middle, Obas Pinar and Hassan Khan to round out the batting order, and Oatmeal Bartman, Jasdeep Singh, and Abhimanyu Lamba to finish out the side. Some honorable mentions include Tim Seifert, Nicholas Puran, Jason Holder, Rovman Powell, and Matthew Trump. What is your MLC 2026 team of the tournament? Let me know in the comments. Read the full project at BailsOffCrick.com.